Malacanang Press Corps and guest. Let's have Senior Deputy Executive Secretary Menardo Guevara. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the Malacanang Press Corps. Today's briefing promises to be more interesting than the last one. Our resource person for today is Cabinet Secretary Leoncio June Evasco Jr. As the chairperson of the National Food Authority Council, he will share with us updates on the issues regarding NFA rice. Sec, you have the floor.
Salamat, Yusek Guevara. Likewise, good morning to the members of the Malacanang Press Corps and to my staff at the Cabinet Secretary Office. To all of you, good morning. You know, I'm here as the chairperson or chairman of the NFA Council. You know, the council is the highest body within the NFA. Being the chairman of the NFA Council, I am the highest official during the time of the meeting of the council, where the council provides timely guidance, directives, policies, especially something to do with purchase of rice, when to purchase the rice, at what volume we're going to purchase the rice, and what mode of procurement that we have to undertake, and what are the terms of preference whenever we have to buy rice from outside. The moment the council has adjourned, the administrator takes over as the highest official of NFA because he is the one tasked to implement, to operationalize whatever directives set and given by the council. So, during the last meeting of the council where the president attended, there was an order from the president that first, there should only be one mouthpiece coming from the NFA, and it is only the chair, so as not to confuse and to create panic among our people regarding rice. Second, the president said that it's better to have more rice than rice lacking in our market. So these are the major guidelines the president made during that meeting last March 19 in Malacanang. After that meeting, we have to follow up the discussion on the purchase of rice. Right there and then, the council has given the directive to the management to immediately prepare for the procurement of rice using the G2P mode of procurement. G2P mode of procurement is a departure from what it used to be in the past. That is the G2G. The council this time has traveled to another mode. That is G2P. G2P means it's government to private traders outside of our country, where private traders have to submit tender in the international bidding. This is to protect the interests of government, that government pays the rice that we purchase in an advantageous price. Now, during that meeting, as I've said, it was agreed that the mode of procurement is G2P, not G2G. Second, the procurement of rice, that is the 250,000 metric tons that will be purchased immediately, will be using the terms of preference which were agreed during the last time that we bought G2P in 2017. Now, the management came up with its own position that the terms of reference as agreed in 2017 and reapproved to be used for the purchase of rice in 2018 be amended, which the council rejected. Because if we will deliberate on the amendments, it will all the more delay the purchase of rice. But last Monday, my office received a communication coming from management that they are going to conduct a referendum where all members of the council are made to go over the documents and decide whether they will agree on the amended terms of reference or not. I have to tell you this morning that, again, the members of the council rejected because there are some security considerations. Because they would want to amend the delivery of rice done by the private traders. Before, the delivery was only up to the gate where the employees of NFA will have to check on whether the delivery of bags of rice is in accordance to the terms of reference and to the bidded position done by the private traders as approved by NFA. Now they would want that the delivery would not only be at the gate of the warehouse, but allow private traders, the foreigners, to stockpile inside these bodegas, inside these warehouses. Now, we don't want to succumb to such position because this has security implications. Second, how will we know? How will we know the old stocks and the new stocks that will be mixed? We have no control over that. That's why the council members rejected this position. I am not the council member. I am not the council. But the council is made up of representatives coming from NEDA, coming from Central Bank, coming from DOF, coming from Land Bank, coming from DTI, coming from the representative of the farmers' organization throughout the country. This is the council. These are the members of the council. I am not the council. I only preside during the meetings of the council. That's why the president asked all of us during that meeting in March 19 that there is only one voice that should come from NFA. It should be the voice of the council chairman. The way things are now, there are so many voices, thereby muddling, confusing the issue on rice and creating panic on the part of traders and on the part of consuming public of rice. Why are they doing this? They only know the reason why. Because as far as the council is concerned, we don't have any disagreement with management because the council members are just being aware and true to the mandate given to us that we have to protect the Filipino people, that there is always rice on the table, and rice is not just only affordable but available at all times. And it should be both. If we have to buy this from outside, it should be both in an advantageous price set during the bidding. So thank you very much.
Okay, Secretary Evasco. MPC questions for Secretary Evasco. Unahin ko muna si Rose Novenario, sir. Ang question niya, kailan daw po magtutugma ang pahayag ng office ninyo at ng NFA?
Magtutugma lang ito kung they will follow what the President has ordered, that NFA should stop issuing statements which will try or which will attempt to muddle the issue on rice and thereby create panic.
So sir, ano yung reason bakit hindi sinusunod ng NFA yung gano'n?
Alam mo, marami silang mga proposals which were being shut down by the council. The council will always have to protect the interests of government. The council will always have to protect the people, that there is always rice on the table. Thereby, the council decides collectively when to buy rice, at what volume, and at what mode of procurement to be used in buying. Because for all you know, if we keep on buying without taking consideration of the times where our farmers in the Philippines are harvesting, it is going to create a negative impact on our farmers. Because the rice that we buy, when we deliver this in times of harvest season, it is going to create a distortion of prices that is now detrimental to the interests of our farmers.
Okay, follow up, Hannah Sancho, to be followed by Pia Gutierrez. Hannah, microphone please. Salamat, Asek.
Morning, Secretary. Sir, hindi po ba responsibilidad ng NFA na tiyakin na hindi nawawala ng reserba o ng stock ng bigas po? May pananagutan po ba yung NFA dahil ngayon sinasabing wipe out na po yung stock, yung reserba po natin ng bigas sa NFA?
Ganito, ma'am. Yung buffer stock, ito yung kinukuha sa mga Filipino farmers by letting NFA buy rice, buy palay from the farmers. Now, since last year, NFA management has been asking the council to increase the support price from 17 pesos per kilo of palay to over 20 pesos. Now, this was rejected by the council because the moment we allow the increase of buying price, it will create an inflationary situation in our market. Not just only of rice, but other basic products sold in our market. Second, we did not allow because the reason that they are no longer competitive. It's true. They are no longer competitive using 17 pesos if they buy rice at the end of the harvest season, because they will now be competing with private traders who will be buying palay at 25 pesos. But the 17 is more competitive if a management will buy palay at the onset of harvest season. Because for all you know, farmers are ready to sell their palay to recoup the cost of production in the past 3 months. Second reason why they are so eager to sell their produce, because at the onset of harvest season, palay has a high moisture content, and palay having a high moisture content is heavy. So they can get as much money as they would want because at that time, mabigat yung palay dahil sa mataas na moisture content. Now, it seems to me that there is reluctance. That is the reason why hindi ganon ka-stable yung buffer stock. Because for all you know, the buffer stock is taken from the palay which NFA purchased using the support fund given by Congress. When in fact, this year, the support fund is 7 billion pesos. More than enough. More than enough.
Sir, balikan ko yung question, sir. Pero yung question ko kasi, sir, kung may pananagutan po yung NFA, kasi di ba sinabi po, di ba po ba responsibilidad ng NFA na dapat hindi po nauubusan ng buffer stock o ng reserba ng bigas?
It's so obvious. It's so obvious.
Na may pananagutan po sila,
Because,
sir.
you know, the way things are happening now, they create the artificial shortage and pin down on the council that were responsible in creating such situation of shortage. When in fact, we have checked that based on the report of the Department of Agriculture, there is so much rice. In fact, this is the reason why the standby volume of rice of 250,000 metric tons was set to be purchased and to be delivered before June in time for the lean months.
Sir, hindi po ba yan enough basis, sir, para masibak po si...
Pardon?
O, hindi po ba itong sapat na basis, sir, para hilingin po ninyo na masibak po si NFA Administrator Jason Aquino?
We have not made a position on that. If there are some sectors calling for his removal, it should be the president who should react on that, because it is the president who appointed him. In fact, I should keep silent on that, because it's not mine to comment on that. Mine as the chair of the NFA Council is to guide the discussion that it is true to the mandate set by law.
Pia Gutierrez.
Sir, for the record, ano na po ba yung status ng current inventory ng NFA rice? Totoo po ba yung mga reports na wiped out na po ang bigas ng NFA?
I have no reason to say whether it's yes or no. That's why, first, the council passed a resolution last February to ask COA to conduct an special audit to find out whether NFA is buying rice at a proper timing. Meaning to say, whether NFA is buying it at the onset of harvest season. At what volume are they buying? Second, NFA should be auditing regarding the release of NFA rice, assuming to the market. Because from what we have gotten from the reports of NFA, during October, November, December of last year and January of this year, there was an average of delivery of rice from the warehouse of NFA to outside at the average of 1 million bags per month. Now, why will you release so much rice to the market when it is in time of the harvest season? Comparing this to the June, July, August, we found in the report that there was less rice given out to the market, when at that time it was lean months, meaning to say there were few rice available in the market. So that's the reason why we're asking COA to conduct an audit, if only to clarify things and maybe absolve NFA. That's why I don't want to pass judgment on that, because it might preempt whatever findings COA would have on the matter.
Pero sir, the report that the NFA stocks are already wiped out is the one creating panic right now. So, ibig sabihin po ba sir, the NFA management is not updating you on the current status ng inventory ng NFA?
I could not remember. That's why the president will be meeting with big rice traders tomorrow afternoon, because the president will have a take on that. In fact, if there is a sector in our country that can manipulate the presence of rice in our market, it's the traders. An irresponsible issuance of a statement that there is no more rice in our market would immediately create a reaction on people who do have rice on their hands. Withdraw this and speculate the day when to release it at a higher price
Sir,
at
you,
the detriment of the consuming public.
sir, you also mentioned that they are creating an artificial shortage. They meaning the NFA management, sir?
Of course, with their statement. Well, they are not the ones creating it, but the reaction to their statement would eventually make the traders withdraw the rice to speculate on higher price of rice in few weeks from now.
And last, sir, yung sa meeting ni President Duterte, yung pinatawag po niya, pinatawag po because of the reports na
No.
wiped out na?
During the March 19 meeting, it was proposed by the Department of Agriculture Secretary that rice traders should be called and let the President talk to them so that we can preempt whatever plans of these traders and we can ask the traders to help us rather than take advantage of a situation to make money at the expense of the consuming public.
Sir, last na lang, sir. Phone-in question, sir. Sir, it appears kasi that the NFA management, sinisisi nila yung NFA Council because basically hindi daw po kayo pumapayag na itaas ang buying price ng NFA from 17 pesos.
Alam mo, as I've said, I'm not the council. We deliberated on that. And at the end of the day, the council collectively decided not to allow the increase of the buying price. Because, as I've said earlier, it's going to create inflationary situation. And second, the 17, as I have said earlier again, is good enough to buy rice if you do it early at the start of harvest season, not at the end of the harvest season.
Okay, MPC friendly reminder, one question to follow-ups. We still have Senior Deputy Executive Secretary Guevara. Ace Romero.
Secretary, for the record, meron bang instance na nag-issue yung NFA management ng statements on rice supply even after the President issued the directive na kayo lang po yung pwedeng magsalita?
From the reports that I've gotten, it's no longer the administrator issuing the statement. But from the reports that we have gotten, these are people down who are issuing statements.
So ang point, meron pa rin pong
Meron.
nag-violate nung... And these statements, kung itama nyo po kung mali, these statements are the ones that caused yung panic, yung speculation. Yeah. So you're saying yung NFA management somehow caused this panic, this reaction?
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you,
Kasi,
Secretary.
so sabi naman ni Presidente na it's only the council chairman who should be given the authority to speak. I have to speak out whether it's good for me or it's bad for me. I have to tell the truth.
Just for the record, ano po yung tingin yung dahilan bakit ginagawa nila to despite the order of the President?
I suspect that they have something in mind by releasing the bags of rice October, November, December, January, depleting the supply of rice which could have been used to stretch this rice up to the time of the start of the lean months.
That means, ano yun, Sec? What's in their mind?
Sila lang ang nakaalam. Basta
Okay, thank you.
ang lumabas dyan sa report nila, may malaking volume ng bigas lumabas from October, November, December, January. At saka, yung June naman, July, August, maliit lang ang lumabas. When it could have been the practice that ma-release na yung malaking volume at the time of the lean months. Bakit dito maraming bigas bakit lumabas ang marami?
Thank you, Secretary.
Cedric, to be followed by Henry.
Sir, good morning po. Sir, just to be very clear about it, sir. And as far as the council is concerned, may shortage po ba, sir? May wipe out na po bang nangyari, sir?
From the reports of DA Secretary, during that meeting of March 19, there's nothing to fear because there is rice. Because according to the DA Secretary, it's only now that they have a big harvest from the Filipino farmers. That's why there was no panic on our end. Because the purchase of rice is timed to arrive on May in time for the start of the lean months.
Pero sir, yung NFA rice po,
Mayroon man talaga kasi bakit mayroong NFA rice? Yung quantitative restrictions, the MAB. Nagdating na dito last March, 501,000 metric tons. At saka ngayon naman, we're ordering NFA to purchase the 250,000 metric tons. That is set to arrive in time for the lean months, that is before June. So, there's nothing to worry. Kaya lang, we have to ask the traders na ipalabas yung bigas. And we will ask COA to audit. And secondly, kung sabihin naman na mahirap ibili dahil mababa yung buying price ng NFA, we will give incentive to whoever will sell palay to NFA. They will have 1 kilo in exchange. 2 kilos of palay sold to NFA will entitle to the seller of 1 kilo rice allocated to them.
sir, quantitative na lang sir kasi a few weeks ago, ang sabi po is a month ago, 1.5 to 2 days na lang yung buffer stock. At what level na po yan now? Has it reached zero? Or
Wala pa naman. Wala pa. It's 0.35.
0.35
0.35.
day. 0.35 day. Sige sir, quick follow-up lang sir. In the event po, God forbid, magkaroon ng calamity in the next few weeks, ano po ang isusupply natin na bigas dun sa mga ngailangan?
We have to proactively think about it. In fact, I have to meet the council members about this because this is a new development.
Okay,
And we'll be asking the police to check whether it's true or not.
last 3 na lang tayo. Henry, Tuesday, Deo, and Ralph. Last 4.
Secretary, good morning.
Good morning.
Galing po sa inyo ang pahayag mismo na ang NFA ang pinagmumulan ng pagpapakalat ng mayroong rice shortage. Tama po ba? Opo. Ngayong galing po mismo sa NFA ito, hindi ho ba ninyo naiisip na imungkahi ang pagbuwag sa ahensyang ito?
In fact, during the last meeting of the council, we were informed by the Department of Finance that there is a proposed bill for the doing away with the quantitative restrictions because we are allowed by WTO to purchase rice to the minimum access volume of 805,000 plus metric tons every year. Now, Department of Finance, with the support of the Executive Secretary, would want to do away with the quantitative restrictions. Hayaan na lang ang ating mga private traders to buy rice and to sell rice here, where they would be governed by the law of the supply and demand. But there was an additional proposal that DTI should take the regulatory function over these private traders. Meaning to say that DTI will have to put tags on the rice that this is done by private traders and put under the SRP, suggested retail price. Kasi alam mo naman dito ay magkano lang ang bentang bigas niyan sa labas. So based on this selling price of rice from outside, makompute na rin dito, including the profit of private traders, how much this rice should be sold in our market. That is friendly to our consuming public.
In other
especially
words,
the poor.
Secretary, ikinukonsidera ho ang pagbuwag na sa NFA?
Kinukonsidera na yan. Now, regarding the abolition of NFA, NFA could only be abolished first if we have enough rice produced in our country to feed our people. Second, if we follow the proposal of the Department of Finance to do away with the quantitative restrictions, definitely mawala yung NFA because we will now allow private traders to buy and sell this rice here in our country.
Ngayon
But-
pong marami ho ang namumroblema ang mga mamimili. Ano ho yung immediate and doable solution na nakikita po ninyo sa Konseho at ng Malacanang para yung mga naghahanap ng murang NFA rice ay kaagad-agad po ay matugunan ang kanilang problema?
Ang una talaga dito for medium term, i-fast track yung pagbili ng bigas. Second, there should be an incentives that should be given to the Filipino farmers to sell rice using incentives that will give them that interest to sell their palay to government through the NFA. Third, there should be an active monitoring on the warehouses for us to know whether there is rice hoarded or rice that should be brought to the market.
Okay, Tuesday New.
Hi, sir. Sir, nabanggit niyo po kanina na iminungkahi ninyo na i-audit ng COA yung mga bigas ng NFA. Nagawa na po ba ito at mayroon na po bang report ang COA tungkol
Ganito,
dito?
ma'am. Just recently, we passed the resolution. And in fact, the communication was already given to COA. Now, we will be meeting with COA to discuss on the nitty-gritty regarding this audit. What would be the scope of the audit, the time frame, parang ganun ba?
So wala pa po
Wala pa.
result. Opo.
In fact, I asked my ASIC to go to COA tomorrow to set the time frame
Alright.
and the contents of such audit.
Another question, sir. Nabanggit din po ninyo na ikinukonsidera na ang pagbuwag sa NFA. Pero mangyayari lamang po ito, sabi ninyo, kung mayroon ng sapat na supply ng bigas ang bansa. Hindi po kaya yan yung dahilan kung bakit pinalalabas ng NFA, katulad ng sinabi ninyo, nakokonti ang supply para hindi sila mabuwag?
Ikaw nagsabi niyan.
Di ba? Yun yung ano dun, sir, eh. Kung sapat ang supply bago sila buwagin. So, ang sinasabi natin, ang sinasabi nila ngayon, kulang ang supply. Kaya, andyan pa rin sila.
Pero itong lahat yung pagbuwag ng NFA, nandyan pa yan sa Congress. To be considered pa yan. But there are already discussion as to the nitty-gritty of such bill that should be approved, that once it is being approved by Congress.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, last two, Deo and Ralph.
Secretary, morning po. Sinabi niyo po kanina, based on the mga sinasabi niyo simula nung briefing natin, na NFA ang may kasalanan ng panic, NFA ang lumalabas na source ng shortage ng artificial shortage ng bigas. Hindi po ba natin kakastiguhin ang NFA dahil po doon sa ganitong nangyayari, sa panic na they created? And kailangan pa bang tapusin yung audit ng COA bago nyo gawin yung pagkastigo sa kanila?
Hindi naman maliit na bata yung taga-management ng NFA. They are honorable persons, honorable people that could easily understand directives done and given by the President. Pag-usapan ito. Pag-usapan ito sa Council.
Pero meron po kayong authority ang NFA Council po para pagsabihan o kastiguhin niya. Ang term po yung is kastigo yung ang
Nasabihan
NFA.
naman talaga. Nasabihan na eh.
Hanggang sabihan lang po, wala pong no heads will roll, wala pong gano'n.
Wala pa naman. Kasi, as I've said, the President is the appointing authority. And it's only the President who can remove him from office. Now, what would be the role of the Council? The Council maybe can give recommendations. But such recommendation could only be given based on hard facts, data, as provided to us by the investigating agency.
So after po ng COA audit, kayo magre-recommend?
Oo.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, last question, Ralph. Microphone, Pia, please. Thank you.
Hello po, sir. Kailan po na-open yung minimum access volume po?
Pardon?
Yung minimum access volume po.
Minimum access volume for this year arrived last March with a volume of 501,000 metric tons. That is apart from the harvest of the first quarter of this year. And that is apart from the projected 250,000 metric tons that will be purchased and to arrive before June.
Ba't po na late yung pag-open? Na late?
Hindi naman late yan. Kasi ang sabi ko kanina na the council decides when to buy so as not to impact negatively on the production of the Filipino farmers. Kasi kung magka-timing yan, we have to let this rice arrive in times of harvest season, definitely it's going to impact negatively on the produce of the farmers.
Okay.
Wala pong bagong inaay na MAV ngayon.
Pardon?
Wala pong sorry po. Wala pong bagong inaay na MAV ngayon. The 300 plus is set to arrive in August. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry sir, may pahabol. Pia, and Tuesday? Tigi-tigi.
Sir, last na lang sir, pahabol ng reporter namin. Sir, please explain daw how decisions in the council are made when there is only one member from the NFA, DA is not represented, and there is only one representative from the farmers group who has no voting powers.
All of the members, as I have mentioned earlier, do have voting powers. Now, when the executive order number 1 was issued at the start of the Duterte administration, NFA was put under the office of the cabinet secretary. I don't know if it was deliberate or not that the membership of the DA secretary was not found. Now, there is no problem to amend that. It's the order of the president to amend that, because he will be eventually to sign such amended executive order. At any rate, the past 3 or 4 meetings that we had, DA secretary is invited, but his representative, Yusik Kayanan, was the one attending in behalf of DA Secretary Pinyol. But last March 19, it was DA Pinyol who attended, because it is important for us to know the data of harvest that should be given by the Department of Agriculture for us to come up with a decision, as I've said, when to buy, at what volume to buy, and what mode of procurement we have to use in buying.
Okay, thank you. Final question, Tuesday.
Sir, currently kasi sir, naglilibot tayo sa mga palengke, kukonti talaga yung may nabibilhan ng NFA rice. Dito pa lang po yun sa Metro Manila, hindi pa po yung mga nasa probinsya. So, kailan po tayo makakakita na sapat yung NFA rice supply sa market? Kasi yun po yung hinahanap ng mahihirap nating kababayan.
That should be answered by the management, because council gives the directives. It's now up to the management to be creative, to be proactive in sourcing out rice that could be brought to the market.
Okay.
Last natin, clarification lang sir, dun sa 0.35 day na supply ng NFA, mga gaano karami po yun o ilang bags yun?
Mga 200,000.
200,000 bags. Sa Metro Manila lang po yun.
Throughout the country.
Throughout the country. So kulang
That
na nga.
is if there is no
0.35.
rice produced tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Tuesday. Thank you, Secretary Leoncio
Salamat.
Jun Evasco.
Salamat.
Let's now have Deputy Executive Secretary.
Thank you. Let's start with some good news. On the Moody's report on the Philippines, we welcome the latest announcement of the Moody's Investor Service, quoting its report, quote, FAQ on overheating risks, quote unquote, that the Philippines is one of the fastest growing economies in the Asia Pacific in 2017 and the second fastest among BAA rated sovereigns globally. Overheating risks, the Global Credit Watcher adds, are not yet material. Moody's cited our increasing working age population, rising productivity levels, and better infrastructure as factors that would mitigate overheating risks. Another piece of good news on the World Trade Organization, or WTO, Fifth Trade Policy Review. The Philippine government welcomes the feedback gained from the World Trade Organization's Fifth Trade Policy Review in Geneva, Switzerland. The review, which evaluated the country's trade policies from 2012 to 2017, noted the country's steady GDP growth at an average of 6.6% per year within this particular period. Likewise, the country's total trade in 2017 amounted to US dollars 142 billion, up by 10% from 2016. The Philippine delegation also put forward critical reforms that it is presently working on, like the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act and the Philippine Competition Act. Of course, these are now laws, no? Among others. In addition, WTO Trade Policy Review report highlighted the Philippines' strong commitment in strengthening the global trading system, as well as its active role in advancing negotiations for fisheries subsidies and micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs. We can now discuss other matters if you wish.
Okay, Tuesday New?
Sir, hi po.
Tuesday.
Sir, yung information circulating na Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre is good to go na raw po. Ano po ang confirmation dito? And another one is mayroon na raw din pong resignation letter na isinabmit si Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello last Monday to the President. Natanggap na po ba ito at ano po ang response ni Presidente?
The Office of the President has not received any letter of resignation from either Secretary Bello or Secretary Aguirre. And the President has just returned from his Holy Week visit to his hometown, and he has not given any statement regarding this matter.
Follow up lang, sir. So, we expect, sir, that both of them will be attending the cabinet meeting mamaya po?
Yes, of course, they have been invited to attend the cabinet meeting this afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, follow up. Maricel Halili, TV5.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Sir, how satisfied is the President with the performance of Secretary Aguirre?
He has been generally satisfied with the performance of the Secretary of Justice. Well, except for certain debacles that happened to the DOJ recently. The President did not hide his displeasure about certain developments pertaining to the war on drugs, no? More specifically, the dismissal of charges against certain high-profile suspects.
But when the President mentioned a few weeks ago that he is not satisfied anymore with some of the members of his cabinet, who is he referring to?
I really am not in a position to say whom he was referring to. If any action along this line will have to be taken by the President, I guess he himself will make that announcement.
But do we expect a cabinet revamp anytime soon?
We are not aware of any impending cabinet revamp.
Thank you, sir.
Follow up? Other issue, Laila? Oh.
Good morning, sir. Sir, on the Supreme Court directive to submit the PNP reports on the Oplan Tokhang operations, what does the palace think of this? Do you have any concerns about this, considering the earlier reluctance of the government to share these reports?
The Office of the Solicitor General has argued that there are certain security concerns that need to be addressed in connection with this matter. But since the Supreme Court itself has apparently made a final order for the production of these particular documents by the law enforcement agencies of the government, I guess we have no other alternative except to comply, subject probably to certain security checks or requirements that must be complied with and observed.
Sir, will Malacanang direct the PNP to submit this report?
There is no need for Malacanang to direct the PNP.
You expect
so.
them to comply with it?
Yes, of course. If that's the final order of the Supreme Court, all agencies of the government bound by that order are supposed to comply and follow.
Sir, do you think the submission of these reports would have any effect, adverse or otherwise, on the ongoing war against drugs?
Wala naman kaming nakikitang potential effect dahil wala namang itinatago ang mga law enforcement agencies dito sa mga dokumentong ito, except for the security ng, let's say, mga possible witnesses and so forth and so on.
Thank you.
Okay, may follow up? Other issue, Ace?
Ace?
Secretary, good morning. The President said he's now open to resuming peace talks again with the communists. Ano po yung implication nito dun sa petition na final ng Duterte administration sa court, asking the court to declare certain persons associated with the left, to declare them as terrorists?
Walang epekto itong sinabi ng Presidente na open siya. No? Of course, yung sinabi ng Presidente na open siya na makipag-usap uli sa mga rebelde ay subject to certain preconditions, no? Like stop ang lahat ng pag-atake nila sa mga government and even private facilities like construction equipment. All right? And certain other conditions like itigil nila ang pangongolekta ng mga revolutionary taxes from residents of particular areas and so forth and so on. But for now, that statement by the President, which is premised on certain preconditions, will not affect in any way the pending petition for the proscription of certain individuals as terrorists or violators of the Human Security Act.
Ba't hindi po maapektuhan yung petition?
Unang-una ay wala pa naman yung mga pag-uusap na yon, no, at hindi pa naman yun nangyayari. At meron kasing mga standards or criteria under the law itself, no, Human Security Act, which is basically our anti-terrorism law, na magsasabi kung ang isang individual o ang isang grupo o pangkat ay masasabi nga natin na isang terrorist group.
Kasi yung ibang mga nasa listahan, Secretary, if I'm not mistaken, some of them are supposedly peace consultants nung NDF. So, mananatili pa rin yung terror tag na yun hanggat walang direct.
For as long as
yung
legal
petition
requirements under the Human Security Act are met, then the government will pursue its proscription action against these people, regardless of the fact na coincidentally, they are supposed to be, quote-unquote, consultants sa peace process.
Last po sa akin, Sec. What prompted the President to change his mind or to change tone regarding the peace talks with the Reds, considering in the previous weeks, panay yung banat niya kay Joma Sison, sa Reds. Ano po yung nagpabago nung kanyang isip?
Hindi ko masasagot ng diretsuhan kung ano ang nagpabago sa kanyang pag-iisip. Ang masasabi ko lang naman ay ang presidente naman natin ay always keeps an open mind regarding this matter. Ang alam ko naman ay ang pangkalahatang kapayapaan, no, pangmatagalang kapayapaan ay nasa kanyang isip lagi. At kung makakatulong ang pagre-reopen ng peace talks, why not?
Thank you, Secretary.
Okay, Laila Salaveria.
Laila?
Sir, good morning. Sir,
Yes.
may we know what are the recommendations of the Office of the President on Boracay apart from the proposals of the different departments?
All right. Ang Office of the President mismo ay kasalukuyang pinag-aaralan ang mga rekomendasyon ng mga iba-ibang ahensya. No? Nasabi ko na sa inyo noong nakaraang briefing na merong submission ang Department of the Environment and Natural Resources, DILG, local governments, no? And also the Department of Tourism for a total closure of Boracay Island. Ganun pa man, meron pa rin ibang agencies like the Department of Trade and Industry na nagre-recommend na gawing partial or in phases ang pag-rehabilitate ng Boracay Island. Kung di ako nagkakamali ay may mungkahi rin naman ang Secretary of Finance about the timing kung kailan natin dapat simulan itong aksyon tungkol sa Boracay. So yan ay sasama-sama namin sa Office of the President, and hopefully we should be able to submit a memorandum for the President's consideration bago cabinet meeting mamayang hapon. Pero nag-expect kami ng malawakang pagtalakay dito sa bagay na ito tungkol sa Boracay mamayang hapon kasi maraming issues na dapat na malinawang mabuti. Number 1, ano ba ang kailangan gawin talaga sa Boracay? Number 2, yung sa mga gagawin na yan sa Boracay, like halimbawa sa drainage, sewerage system nila, kailangan bang masara ang Boracay? Kung siya ay masasara, yun ba ay total or partial? At kung yun ay sasagawa, kailan ba dapat simulan yan? At huli, kung sakali mang nahandyan na yan, ano ang mga measures na dapat na gawin ng national at local government para yung mga maapektuhan ay wag namang masyadong mahirapan. So yung mga bagay na yan ay tatalakaying mabuti mamayang cabinet meeting.
Sir, since na-mention na yung cabinet meeting, ano pa po yung mga naka-agenda na issues later?
Yun ang pinakamahalaga sa aking tingin. Pero meron pang ibang agenda items like yung sa Cebu bus rapid transit and so forth and so on. But I think this one stands out above the rest.
Okay, MPC, question, Hannah? Okay na? Sige, Pia and then Laila ulit. Last two na.
Sir, considering the recommendations given by different departments, is the Office of the Executive Secretary inclined to propose a 6-month closure in Boracay?
Hindi pa namin natatapos yung aming memorandum kaya it might be premature to disclose to you kung anong recommendation ng Office of the Executive Secretary.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Laila?
Sir, since you mentioned last Monday that the President can't end contractualization through an EO, some labor groups are protesting and some of them are saying that the palace doesn't have the political will to fulfill the President's promise to end contractualization or end those. Sir, what do you think about
Mabuti naman at naitanong mo uli yung katanungan na yan. No? Kasi hindi naman ibig sabihin na kung hindi magagawa sa pamamagitan ng isang executive order ang total ban on contractualization ay ibig sabihin nun ay tinatalikuran na ng presidente ang kanyang pangako tungkol sa pagtigil or paghinto ng contractualization. No? Kasi po pwede namang gawin yan ng presidente in consultation or in coordination with Congress. Kasi nga, napaliwanag ko na sa inyo na may mga bagay-bagay na ang Kongreso mismo ang pwedeng gumawa. Kamukha ng mga provision sa labor code. Batas yun eh. So, kung kailangan may baguhin doon, ang Kongreso rin mismo ang dapat na magbago noon. At ang magagawa ng ehekutibo roon ay makipagtulungan, no? At i-pursue yung legislative action na yon sa pamamagitan ng proper liaison and coordination.
Thank you.
Okay, last question, Henry Uri.
Henry?
Sir, pasensya na, balikan ko lang yung kay Secretary Vitaguire para sa eksaktong sagot na kailangan po naming paibigay sa mga nakikinig. Ano ho talaga sa ngayon ang status ni Secretary Aguirre? Siya ho ba ay totoong napapabalita na tatanggalin na ng Pangulo at mamaya ay posibleng i-announce sa cabinet meeting?
Gaya ng sinabi ko na, wala namang kaming natatanggap na letter of resignation coming from any cabinet secretary. Bagamat nabalitaan namin na kahapon ay pumasok or napasok sa isang ospital si Secretary Aguirre dahil may karamdaman o may, hindi ko lang masabi kung ano man. But yon ay nakuha namin mismo sa mga taga-Department of Justice.
So kung hindi ho siya magre-resign, wala rin pong anumang pag-uusap na siya ay tatanggalin kay mag-resign kay hindi? Hindi
namin nakakausap ang presidente mula pa nung last week, no? Palagay ko naman kung meron niyang mga aksyon na kailangan gawin tungkol sa pagkilos or movement sa cabinet, presidente mismo ang magsasabi nun.
Okay, salamat po.
Okay, maraming salamat, Henry. Thank you, MPC. Thank you, Senior Deputy Executive Secretary Guevara. Thank you, MPC. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.
Bye-bye.